por ser el mejor y estar tan cerquita el uno con el otro.
Bueno, creo que este año...
He was told he was too small to make it, diagnosed with a growth disorder at 11, signed his first European contract on a napkin. This is Lionel Messi, the boy from Rosario, who spoke softly, dribbled quietly, and rewrote football history without ever shouting. While others chased fame, Messi chased perfection. 8 Ballon d'Ors, a World Cup completed at last, and a career built on loyalty, silence, and precision. This is the story of a kid who refused to let his size define his destiny. This is the life of Lionel Messi. In the quiet streets of Rosario, Argentina, where football was as natural as breathing, a small boy learned to speak with his feet before he ever learned how to speak loudly. Lionel Andres Messi was born on June 24, 1987, into a humble family that lived far from the bright lights of stadiums and fame. His world was simple: family, neighborhood friends, and a football that never seemed to leave his side. Messi was different from other children, not because he talked more or demanded attention, but because he didn't need to. The ball listened to him. Even at 5 years old, it moved as if it understood his thoughts. On dusty streets and uneven fields, Lionel weaved through older, stronger boys, his small frame slipping past them like a shadow. While others relied on strength, he relied on instinct. His first club was Grandoli, a local team coached by his grandmother. She was his loudest supporter, the one who believed in him when belief mattered most. She stood on the sidelines, clapping, shouting, smiling, already convinced she was watching something special. When she passed away years later, Messi would always look up to the sky after scoring, pointing toward the woman who first saw the future in him. At 8, Lionel joined Newell's Old Boys, one of Argentina's most respected youth clubs. There, his talent became impossible to ignore. He scored goals with ease, dribbled defenders without effort, and played with a calm beyond his years. Coaches spoke of him in whispers. Parents watched in disbelief. Yet, behind the brilliance, there was a quiet concern. Lionel was not growing. At 11 years old, doctors diagnosed him with a growth hormone deficiency. His body was not producing enough of what it needed to grow normally. The treatment was costly, far beyond what his working-class family could afford. For the first time, football was no longer just a game. It was a question mark, a fragile dream balanced between hope and reality. In Argentina, clubs admired his skill, but hesitated to invest in a child who might never grow strong enough for the professional game. Doors began to close. The same talent that amazed everyone now came with uncertainty. Then, thousands of miles away, one door opened. Lionel Messi's professional journey did not begin with noise or spectacle. It began quietly in 2004, when a 17-year-old stepped onto the pitch for FC Barcelona. He was small, shy, and barely noticed at first. But once the ball found his feet, the game seemed to slow down for him and speed up for everyone else. At Barcelona, Messi grew from promise into inevitability. His first goal announced him not as a future star, but as something rarer. He didn't rely on power or theatrics. He relied on precision, balance, and instinct. As seasons passed, the young boy from Rosario became the center of Barcelona's universe. Goals came in floods. Records fell one by one. Playing deeper, wider, sometimes centrally, he became everything at once: playmaker, scorer, leader. Barcelona dominated Europe, not through force, but through control, and Messi was its pulse. Between 2009 and 2012, he collected Ballon d'Ors, shattered scoring records, and redefined what greatness looked like. Yet he remained unchanged, quiet, focused, almost uncomfortable with attention. For more than a decade, Messi carried Barcelona through triumph and turmoil. He became the club's all-time top scorer, its captain, its symbol. But football is never only about loyalty. Financial realities and internal struggles brought an ending few imagined. In 2021, Messi left Barcelona in tears, closing a chapter that had defined modern football. Paris Saint-Germain became his next destination. In a new country, new league, and new system, adaptation was necessary. The brilliance still surfaced. Subtle passes, decisive moments, trophies, but something deeper pulled at him. For all his club success, Messi's international career had long been marked by heartbreak. For years, he came close with Argentina, only to fall short. Finals lost. Criticism heavy. The weight of a nation pressed on his shoulders. Many would have walked away. Messi stayed. In 2021, redemption arrived with the Copa America. Then, in 2022, destiny completed its work. At the World Cup in Qatar, Messi delivered a tournament for the ages, leading, scoring, inspiring. In the final, under unimaginable pressure, he lifted the one trophy that had eluded him. In that moment, the debate ended. His journey was complete. In 2023, Messi chose not the loudest stage, but a meaningful one: Inter Miami. There, he transformed a club, elevated a league, and reminded the world that greatness isn't bound by geography. Even in the twilight of his career, his presence reshaped everything around him. Lionel Messi's professional life is not just a collection of trophies and records. It is a story of consistency over chaos, humility over hype, and brilliance without arrogance. He never chased greatness. Speaking of trophies and records, Lionel Messi did not collect trophies in bursts. He collected them in waves, season after season, year after year, until excellence became routine and greatness became expected. The awards came early, then kept coming. Individual honors first, then history. The Ballon d'Or became familiar territory. Not once, not twice, but again and again. Until Messi stood alone with 8, more than anyone who ever played the game. Each one said the same thing. This was football's standard. Goals brought more recognition. European Golden Boots, Player of the Year awards, records shattered across leagues and competitions. These were not prizes for moments. They were rewards for consistency. With Barcelona, trophies piled up, league titles, domestic cups, Champions League triumphs. An era built on control, creativity, and Messi at its center. By the time he left, he had become the most decorated player in the club's history, carrying over 35 trophies with quiet authority. Yet one prize remained distant. For years, international silver followed him. Finals lost, questions asked, then redemption. In 2021, Messi lifted the Copa America, earning Player of the Tournament and releasing years of pressure. In 2022, destiny finished the story. At the World Cup, he led Argentina to glory, claimed the Golden Ball, and lifted the one trophy that completed everything. Later came titles in Paris, history in Miami, and influence beyond borders. This was not dominance for a moment. This was greatness sustained. For Messi, success was never just about goals. It was about value, earned, protected, and grown over time. And that is where the next chapter begins. Lionel Messi never chased money. Money followed him. By the later stages of his career, Messi had built more than legacy. He had built a financial empire. Today, his estimated net worth ranges between $650 million and $850 million, placing him among the richest athletes in history. Over more than 2 decades, his career earnings have surpassed $1.3 billion before tax, achieved through elite salaries, endorsements, and smart business choices. His biggest payday came at Barcelona in 2017, when he signed a €555 million contract over 4 years, the richest deal football had ever seen. After leaving Spain, he earned about €75 million per season at Paris Saint-Germain, proving his value crossed borders as easily as his football. Then came Inter Miami. On paper, Messi earns $12 million per year. In reality, His deal is revolutionary. With bonuses and commercial clauses, his guaranteed compensation exceeds $20.4 million, and when sponsorship revenue sharing is included, his annual income rises to roughly $60 million. Crucially, the contract includes an option to acquire ownership equity in Inter Miami, a club now valued near $2 billion, turning Messi from player into investor. If salaries built the foundation, endorsements built the empire. Messi earns an estimated $50 to $75 million annually from sponsorships alone. At the core is Adidas. His lifetime deal, signed in 2017, pays an estimated $20 to $27 million per year, with royalties extending long after retirement and a projected total value of up to $1 billion. His global partner list includes PepsiCo, Apple, Budweiser, MasterCard, Hard Rock International, Socios.com, and Konami. Most figures remain confidential, but analysts agree Messi ranks among the highest-earning endorsers in sports history. Off the field, Messi plays the long game. He owns the MIM Hotels chain, luxury properties in Europe and South America, major real estate holdings in Barcelona, Miami, and Rosario, a $15+ million private jet, and stakes in lifestyle and beverage ventures. Unlike flashier stars, Messi favors quiet, stable investments designed to grow over decades. The numbers tell a clear story. Messi's wealth wasn't built on hype or controversy. It was built on trust, longevity, and excellence. Brands don't just pay for his image, they borrow his credibility. For a man who conquered stadiums, home became the place where the noise finally stopped. And I'm gonna start from the very beginning, Rosario, Argentina. In the La Bajada neighborhood, Messi grew up in a modest family home, far removed from luxury or fame. That house still stands, now a pilgrimage site for fans, its walls carrying the memory of a boy who kicked a ball through narrow streets and dreamed bigger than his surroundings. For Messi, Rosario never stopped being home. Years later, he built a large private family mansion in Rosario's Kentucky neighborhood, designed as a long-term retreat for life beyond football, a place meant for roots, not headlines. Then came Barcelona, the city that shaped the legend. In 2009, just as Messi won his first Ballon d'Or, he purchased a house in Castelldefels, a quiet coastal town about 20 minutes from Camp Nou. Bought for around 1.8 to 2 million euros, the home slowly grew into a fortress of privacy and family life through years of renovations costing over 6 million euros. The estate includes a private gym, spa, swimming pool, cinema room, expansive terraces, and even a small football pitch, where Messi trained and played with his sons. Surrounded by Mediterranean views and high walls, the house became his sanctuary during his most dominant years at Barcelona. Proof that even the world's best needed somewhere quiet to disappear. When Barcelona ended in tears, Paris was a transition, but Miami became a choice. Before officially joining Inter Miami, Messi had already begun establishing a base in South Florida. He purchased luxury residences in the iconic Porsche design tower in Sunny Isles Beach, famous for its private car elevators that allow residents to drive straight into their apartments. His units, valued between $5 million and $9 million, offer panoramic ocean views and unmatched privacy. But Miami wasn't finished with him yet. In September 2023, Messi bought a $10.8 million waterfront mansion in Fort Lauderdale. Inside the Bay Colony gated community, the 10,000-plus square foot home features 8 bedrooms, a private dock, spa facilities, gym, office space, and room for the life he envisioned in the United States, calm, family-centered, and protected from the spotlight. Across continents, one theme remains. Messi does not buy homes to impress. He builds them to belong. Each residence reflects a stage of his life. Rosario for identity, Barcelona for growth, Miami for evolution. The architecture may change, The views may shift, but the intention never does. For a man who conquered stadiums, home has always been the place where the noise fades. Next, I'm taking you on a deep dive to his luxury high-end garage. Early in his Barcelona years, Messi's garage was practical. Audi sedans and SUVs, club-issued models like the Audi A7, Audi Q7, and Audi RS6 handled daily life. Comfortable, reliable, invisible when needed. These weren't status symbols. They were tools for balance. As success followed, performance followed quietly. Ferraris arrived, not to shout, but to speak fluently in engineering. The Ferrari F430 Spider, valued around $165,000 to $200,000, delivered pure driving precision, lightweight, responsive, unforgiving of mistakes. It was a car built on timing and control, traits Messi had mastered long before engines entered the picture. Then came the machine that made headlines, the Pagani Zonda Tricolore, one of the rarest hypercars ever built, entered Messi's collection at an estimated $2 million, and in some valuations far higher due to extreme scarcity. Only a handful exist. Carbon fiber, a roaring V12, handcrafted perfection, and fittingly, built by an Italian brand founded by an Argentine. This wasn't indulgence, it was identity on wheels. There are legends too, whispers that blur into myth. At the peak sits the Ferrari 335S Spider Scaglietti, a 1957 classic valued at $35 to $37 million, often cited as one of the most expensive cars ever owned by an athlete. Whether driven or simply preserved, its value lies in history, rarity, and legacy. Three things Messi understands better than most, but for daily life, Messi chooses calm over spectacle. In Miami, practicality took the wheel. The Cadillac Escalade, priced between $80,000 and $130,000, became a staple. Large, secure, family-ready. Not flashy, not aggressive, just powerful enough to disappear into traffic when needed. And then, there's the detail that says everything. Messi owns homes where cars ride elevators, not for attention, but for privacy. Drive in, rise up, park beside the living room. No cameras, no crowds, no performance, just control. That's the pattern. Aside from buying mansions and fabulous cars, he also invested in the quiet details that define true luxury. On his wrist, time itself becomes a statement. Not loud, never flashy, but precise. He wears Patek Philippe Grand Complications worth over $230,000. Watches built not for fashion trends, but for centuries of mechanical mastery. At other moments, he turns to the Patek Philippe Aquanaut chronograph, a piece that trades hands for around $135,000, sporty yet impossibly rare, much like the man wearing it. When precision meets iconography, Messi reaches for the Rolex Daytona Panda, a watch that retails under $15,000, but lives on the secondary market above $35,000, driven upward by obsession and scarcity. For quieter confidence, there's the Rolex Yacht Master in Everose Gold, hovering around $30,000, understated and solid, designed to be noticed only by those who know. Then there are the rarities, pieces most collectors will never touch. A platinum Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Leo Messi edition, valued near $125,000, created during his peak years. A Hublot Tourbillon, dark and skeletal, around $150,000, where engineering floats in open space. And finally, a Jacob & Co. Epic X Chrono, made for Messi himself, priced around $128,000. A watch that doesn't carry his name for marketing, but for legacy. What he wears follows the same rule. Tailored Louis Vuitton suits, custom cut, clean lines, neutral tones, travel pieces handcrafted for movement, not display. Even when dressed in luxury, Messi blends into silence. The clothes never wear him. When he moves across continents, he does it privately, aboard a $15 million Gulfstream Phi jet. His number? 10 is painted on the tail. His wife's name, his children's names. Inside, there's no excess gilding, just lie-flat beds, space to breathe, and quiet. Before that, he flew an even larger $35 million Embraer Legacy, again choosing distance and discretion over spectacle. And when the world goes quiet and football steps away, Messi turns to water. Not mega yachts for headlines, but sailing. Luxury catamarans worth about 1.7 million euros each, chosen for openness, space, and family life. Sea air, no noise, no crowd. There's a pattern here. Messi doesn't chase luxury to prove he has arrived. He uses it to step away once he has. Every watch, every flight, every outfit is built around the same goal: peace. Because for a man who lived his entire life under noise, pressure, and expectation, the greatest luxury was never diamonds or gold. Regarding his private life, off the pitch, Lionel Messi has lived a life that moves in the opposite direction of fame. His greatest relationship began before the trophies. Antonella Roccuzzo wasn't someone he met at the top. She was there at the beginning. Childhood friends in Rosario. Distance when Messi left for Barcelona at 13. Reunion years later. And in 2017, a wedding in his hometown. Not Paris, not Barcelona. Home. They've built a life together that stayed remarkably stable in a world addicted to chaos. No public breakups, no scandals, just a family. 3 sons, Thiago, Matteo, and Ciro. Always seen on the sidelines, always at the center of his world. Messi has never been loud about love. He's quiet, reserved, uncomfortable with grand displays. He shows affection through routine, presence, and loyalty. Not headlines, but even quiet lives face storms. The biggest controversy came in 2016, when Messi was found guilty in a Spanish tax evasion case involving image rights income. The sentence was suspended and converted into a fine, but the damage was real. For the first time, his spotless image cracked. On the field, moments of frustration surfaced too. A spitting incident, heated clashes, and gestures that reminded everyone he was human. Not perfect, just controlled most of the time. Then came the breaking point. After another lost final with Argentina in 2016, Messi quit the national team. Exhausted, criticized, drained. It shocked the world. Months later, he returned, quietly. No speeches, no drama. And years after that, he finished the story the only way he knew how, with trophies. Lionel Messi lives in luxury. Mansions, private jets, supercars, and watches worth more than most homes. But his luxury was never about showing off. It was about silence. For a man who lived his life under noise and pressure, luxury became protection, not performance. Calm over chaos. Control over attention. From Rosario to the top of the world, Messi didn't let wealth change him. He used it to stay himself. That's the luxury life of Lionel Messi. Quiet, intentional, timeless. Like, subscribe, and comment. What part of Messi's life impressed you the most?